Record. So there we go. We can get started. Jamie-Lynn, I will give you the stage.
All righty. I'm excited to get started, everybody. So welcome to this presentation on how to hire an online team. My name is Jamie-Lynn, and I'm so thrilled to share this with you today, and I can't wait to talk about the top 5 things for you to consider when it comes to hiring your new team members. So let's click to the next one. Oh, there's these animations. That's fun. Okay. So before we get started, I'll introduce myself a little bit. I'm Jamie-Lynn, and I'm the CEO of Soul Solutions. I'm a strategic hiring expert, and I'm the founder of the Elite Hiring Method. And so what I do in my work is I help frustrated business owners hire exceptional team members with clarity and ease. So hopefully we make things feel a little bit easier for you today. After spending nearly 7 years working behind the scenes in the online coaching industry, I came to believe that there's a better way to navigate the way we do business within our companies. And so now I'm on a mission to help business leaders like you collaborate more effectively with their teams, which of course starts with hiring. So I'm from the United States. My father served in the Air Force, and we moved around a whole lot. And because of my love for travel, 5 years ago, I moved to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico from the windy city, Chicago. It's much warmer here. I am the self-proclaimed queen of systems and efficiency. And today I'm really just excited to walk you through a process that I've created that will help you feel really confident about hiring your team. Okay, so these are the top 5 things that we're going to consider when we're hiring. And I'm going to walk you through each one of these 5 as we go throughout the day. Not the whole day, just the next hour. So number 1, we're going to talk about what to delegate and what to keep. So we're going to have a look at my 3-step delegation method, which is going to help you get super clear on the tasks that you can ask your team to do for you, and then which ones should stay on your plate as the business owner. Next, we're going to talk about different core roles to consider hiring for. So here, when we get to this part, we're going to have a look at the differences between core team members and per project contractors. And when we get here, I'm going to share some examples of each, as well as some sample tasks that you could delegate to each different type of team member, just to help you get an idea. Number 3, we're going to talk about how to figure out what to pay your new team member. I know this is a big question for a lot of business owners. And I'm not a finance expert by any means, but I am going to share a formula with you that you'll be able to customize depending on the needs of your business. And this is going to be different for everyone, but what's most important is that you're able to choose a financial structure that works really well for you. Number 4, we're going to talk about when is the best time to hire for your business. So when we get to this section, I'll share my top tips for creating a hiring timeline, and I'm going to share a resource with you that I use with my VIP clients. And what this is going to do is help you see how far in advance to plan your hiring process in order for you to have the support you need to reach your business goals. And finally, I'll share some ideas for where you can look for great support when it comes to finding the person that you would like to hire. It's by no means a complete list, but it'll hopefully give you some ideas and help you get started. All right, are you ready? Type yes in the chat to let me know that you're with me so far. Yes, yes. All right, thanks, James, Miriam. Glad to have you here. Alrighty, so step 1, knowing what to delegate and what to keep. So before we start handing tasks over to your team, the first thing we want to do is define your role as the CEO or the visionary of your company. So if we're going to try and figure out, what tasks our teams can do for us, then the first thing we need to know is which parts of the business we will never ask someone else to do. This is a very, very important part of the process. I have one simple rule for this, and I would write this down if you're taking notes. When you're considering whether to hand a task over to your team or not, you should always ask yourself, am I truly the only person who could do this task? So for example, maybe it's really important for you to write your own content so that it always comes from your heart. If that's the case, absolutely keep that in your own group of tasks. Showing up to serve your clients on calls can only be done by you, so you'll keep that. Making final decisions on things that will have a major impact on your business should always be done by you. But perhaps something like designing opt-in pages for a workshop isn't something that you need to do as the leader of your company. There are lots of people out there who can design an opt-in page, right? So this is the question we always want to ask ourselves. Am I truly the only person who could do this? So here are some more examples. Man, these animations are just ridiculous. Okay. Number one, we have delivering a service to your clients. So, whatever it is that your clients come to you for, you'll always want to be the person who delivers that experience because that's why they hired you. Creating new offers or products. So this falls under what I was just saying about making decisions that will have a major impact on your business, right? You can, of course, create new offers or products in collaboration with your team and ask for their input, but the final decision on creating a new offer will always be yours to make. Writing content. So I was saying this before too, because it's really important for a lot of business owners. If you love writing and it really doesn't feel good for you to ask someone else to write your copy, that's okay. This is absolutely something you can keep. I would, however, recommend that you have someone on your team who can proofread and edit for you maybe. So for example, I'm really good at proofreading and editing other people's writing, but when I write my own stuff and I've been staring at it for a really long time, it's hard for me to catch mistakes. So it's really nice to have someone else take a look at things before they get published. Reaching out to new leads. So this is kind of similar to the first one about delivering your service. Your clients will hire you because they want to experience something together with you. So you should always be the person who's making those initial contacts, those initial connections, and having conversations with your leads so that they can get to know you better before they invest in your offer. And then lastly, just as an example, we have conducting sales calls with potential clients. And this is really for the same reason. So imagine if you were talking to, say, a business coach whose program you wanted to join, and then you logged into Zoom for a sales call and someone else from their team showed up instead. Depending on the service, that probably wouldn't feel very good, right? Your potential clients really want to connect with you. Okay, so I have a little exercise for you, and it's going to help you start to see what you could ask your future team to help you with. Okay, it's going to be based on the goals you want to achieve in your business. And again, we're going to start to see maybe who you need to hire to support the achievement of those goals. So number one, we're going to think about the goals that you want to accomplish in your business in the next 12 months. So if you have a notebook handy, go ahead, grab that and write down 4 or 5 of those goals right now. And you might have more than 4 or 5, you might have less than that, that's okay. Doesn't need to be a lot of detail. It might be something like launch my website. It's just very general and very high level. So go ahead and write those 4 or 5 things down and then let me know in the chat when you're ready to move on.
I love the animation, by the way. It creates a nice.
I don't know if I'm a fan of it. I didn't know it was in there.
I like it. It's very fluid and relaxing, actually.
Good. I'm glad. All right. I don't want to rush you guys through this, so let me know when you've got a couple goals written down. Okay. So next we want to identify the objectives or the projects that will help you reach these goals. So in other words, what are the mini goals that once you've done them all will make the larger goal complete? So go ahead and pick just one of your main goals from step 1 to do this with. And then what I want you to do is write down 3 things you need to do in order to reach that bigger goal. So for example, if we're launching a website, maybe the 3 things are to write website copy, to hire a designer, and to take new photos. So I'll give you just a minute to think about 3 things you need to do in order to reach one of your big goals. Nobody's on camera, so I can't see when you're done.
I know. I can't. I'm also, because we're on the share screen, but I know a lot of people stay off camera often. Actually, I think everybody's off camera right now. Yeah. Yeah. I really love this exercise because it's something that I realized even as a business owner that I don't do enough, is this reverse engineering process. Starting from your goal and then working backwards, to see what pieces you need in place. Yeah.
All right, so hopefully you've got some things written down that will help you reach one of your big goals. Got website, social media marketing, conversion. Yeah, those are great. Okay. So then the last step for this exercise is to take those objectives or the mini goals from step 2, and you're going to write down all the tasks that need to be done in order to make that project happen. So for now, just pick one of your mini goals from step 2, and then go ahead and brainstorm all the little steps from A to Z that need to happen in order for that project to be started and completed. It's okay if you don't know everything that needs to make it happen, but you probably have a good idea. So I'll give you, yeah.
I was going to say, even just getting the list started, and then working through it after. I know that oftentimes I think of so many little details after. So just to get a few things down on the page right now, I think it'll be really good to just kind of unlock that flow.
Exactly. You can always come back to this exercise and finish because, right, we're just breaking down one of the goals for now, but you see how it sort of becomes this tree of things that need to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. Again, you can always come back to this. Does anybody want to share your big goal, your one objective, and some of the things the tasks that you thought of? You can pop those in the chat as I keep going, if you would like to. Okay, so as you go through this exercise for each of your big goals for the year, and you get all the way down to the task level, what you might notice is that groups of tasks that require a similar skill set start to emerge. So for right now, you're probably doing all of these things yourself, but you can start to imagine the type of role that you might want to hire for based on the urgency, the importance, and the quantity, like how many tasks are in these little groups. Is this making sense to everybody? Let me know in the chat so I know we're good. Very quiet today.
I was gonna say everybody's so quiet this morning. Yes. Okay. Aparna said yes. Joy said yes. Amazing.
Alrighty, so here's another rule for you. Something that I notice my clients doing a lot is that they try to keep tasks just because they like doing them. Making a lot of sense. Great, Cindy, thank you. Okay, but what I want you to remember is rule number 1. So did anybody write that one down and want to share? Pop quiz. Rule number 1 was, am I truly the only person who can do this? So when it comes to outsourcing and delegating to your team, eventually what we want is for you to only be working on the things that only you can do, all right? All right. So this is probably the part that you are most excited about. It's always everybody's favorite part, roles to hire. So remember at the beginning when I said that hiring a core team member is different than hiring a per project contractor? We're going to take a look at some of the core team member roles and examples of what they can do to help you. And then we're going to take a look at some examples of per project contractors. And at the end of this section, I'm going to share the differences between hiring them because it's a little bit different. So first up, let's take a look at some ideas for who you might hire onto your core team. Uh-oh, I clicked away from my notes. Give me a second. Oh no, what happened? Okay, so a core team member is someone that you're going to want to hire on a long-term basis and someone that you'll communicate and collaborate with almost every day, right? Wow, I lost my notes there, you guys, they went away. Okay, got them back. So first we have this guy and this lady and this guy. No, I'm only joking. They'd be very busy if we all tried to hire them. So I'm going to put some ideas up here and then we'll have a closer look and see what people in each of these roles might be able to support you with. So we have an administrative assistant who's maybe not necessarily this guy, but I don't know, anything could happen. An executive assistant. You might hire a content writer. So if you're not someone who enjoys writing very much and you're okay with somebody else writing for you, then your content creation is something that you might want to outsource. I know before we were talking about keeping it in your role as the business owner, but what's important to remember is that what's best for you and your company is always the right thing to do, okay? You might hire a tech VA or an IT specialist or a social media manager. Down the road, you might want an online business manager. Or maybe a program director if you're running an online coaching program and you need some help with all of your group clients. And don't worry if you didn't get all of these written down. I know the recording will go up on ecomConnect for you so you can see the slides again if you need to. Just gonna take a sip of my coffee here. It's a lot of talking. So first up, let's have a look at your administrative roles. So this might be your admin assistant or your executive assistant. And some of the things they may be able to help you with include gathering and entering data into your spreadsheets or your Google Docs or your other information management systems. They could help you with downloading and uploading videos you create. So say you like to do Facebook Lives, maybe not this group, we seem to be camera shy, but your executive assistant or your administrative assistant could download those videos and then upload them to your favorite video storage software so that you always have a backup. They can respond to inbox inquiries for you if your inbox is a very busy place. And the last example here is they can manage your company calendar. So they can help you schedule appointments or podcast interviews. They can help make sure you have time to eat lunch. You know, as business owners, sometimes we get very busy and forget to eat. So your admin assistant can help you remember to do that. All right, next up we have our content writer. So again, this is not for you if you love to write your own copy like me. But if you don't love writing, here are some ideas for what a content writer could help you with. They could write your posts and your captions for social media. They might draft your weekly newsletters, or however often you send a newsletter. They could create blog posts for your website. And they could write and submit press releases for you. This is something we tend not to think about all the time, but if you're doing something really cool in your business, content writer could do a little write-up and then submit it to the news so that you're published there. All right, next we have our tech assistant or IT support person. Your tech assistant could help you or your clients troubleshoot tech glitches, because we all know that tech happens and sometimes it is out of our control. And so a tech person could help solve those problems as they arise. A tech person could help connect your sales funnels. So you might build a landing page to sell something, and then you want emails to go out when somebody signs up. And those pieces of technology need to communicate with each other. So your tech person could set that up for you. They could build out your online course if you're a course creator and you're using something like Kajabi or Thinkific or Teachable to load your course online. Tech person could build that out. And they could also audit your tech stack and make suggestions. So your tech stack is all of the software that you use for your company. And sometimes as time goes on, we start investing in too many pieces of software that do the same thing. And so your tech person could go and say, okay, we've got these 10 softwares, but we could cut out these 3 because we don't need them. We could have these softwares do the same thing, or maybe we could cut these 3 and add one that's new and just shorten the number of softwares that we're using to run the business, which saves you money. All right, moving on to our social media manager. So they could help you schedule content to social media, because I know that can be time consuming. They could help you draft launch marketing plans. So if you're someone who launches maybe a few times a year, you could get together with your social media manager and discuss, how and when you're going to post to promote your launch. They can help you grow your follower account so that you're reaching more people. And they could help you attract influencer collaboration. So if they notice that someone that you might like to collaborate with is engaging with your content a lot, they could reach out for you and invite them to do a Facebook Live with you, or maybe you want to host a summit with them, or any way you could think of that you might want to work with somebody else, which is then going to grow your audience more, right? Okay, then the last position I'm going to deep dive into here is the role of an online business manager. So here is a look at what they can do for you. They could help you make lower impact decisions, because remember, you are always going to be the person to make those high impact decisions, but your business manager can take some of the day-to-day smaller decisions off of your plate for you. I will note while we're here that since your online business manager will spend a lot of their time managing the rest of your team, it doesn't usually make sense to hire them before you actually have other team members. And something that you may even consider is promoting someone like your executive assistant or someone else on your team who has shown outstanding leadership qualities into this role when you get there. Your business manager can help you identify growth opportunities, so they can sit with you and think about, okay, well, we're doing this in the business, but how can we grow it? And how can we make it bigger? And how can we generate more revenue? So they might help you do that. And they will lead your project management. So do you remember when we were doing the delegation exercise? I hope so. That was only a few minutes ago. When you have an OBM, you will still do step one, where you lay out all of the goals for your business. And then what your business manager can do is partner with you about step two, deciding on which projects you're going to do. And then your business manager can completely do step three on their own. So they can create all of the tasks that need to be done. And then they'll go and assign those out to your team, which is pretty neat, right? You don't have to spend all the time doing that. Alrighty. So now we're going to have a look at your per project contractors. And these are the people that you'll hire for, usually for a one-time project that has a very clear start date, an end date, and defined deliverables. All right. So here are some examples of per project contractors that you might hire for your business. You might work with a graphic designer or a copywriter. And a copywriter is different than a content writer, like we were talking about before, because a copywriter will do larger projects for you that usually only happen one time. So for instance, writing your website copy, right? Ideally, you're just going to create copy for your website the one time versus your content writer who would do things like write your social media captions every day, right? So it's the difference is how many times they're doing the thing that they do. You might hire a Facebook ad strategist if you're planning to use Facebook ads. So they'll come in, they'll sit with you and create a strategy, and then they'll hand that strategy over to you so that you can implement that with your team. You might hire a media consultant who will help you think about different ways to promote your business or get featured in publications for more visibility. You might hire a podcast production strategist. So if you're thinking about launching a podcast, someone can come in and help you map out how that's going to look, what your season might look like, what your themes of the season might be, different episodes you'll do, things like that. And you might even hire an attorney on retainer, right? It's a smart thing to do in business, just in case. Hopefully we never need our attorney, but sometimes things happen. So these are just some ideas of people that might be a per project contractor. So let's have a look at some of the very slight differences between hiring your core team members and your per project contractors. So your core team is going to send you a contract, and within that contract, they're going to outline their general responsibilities. So it's not going to be as specific. They might be, all the stuff that we talked about when I was going through each of the positions, managing the calendar or the inbox, or writing captions for social media. They're very kind of general. Next, with your core team member, you're going to get them on an orientation call, ideally on their first day. And this is just to welcome them into your company, give them a lay of the land, show them where things are so that they can do their job really well. And of course, this is part of onboarding and integration. If you have other people on your team, this is the phase where you're going to want to introduce everybody to each other so that they know who they can collaborate with when they're working on things. Your core team will be assigned tasks in your project management system. So again, this is probably going to come from you as the business owner until you've reached a point where you might have a business manager. But you're going to have a project management system like Asana or ClickUp or Trello or Monday. I don't know. There's so many project management systems out there. And that's where you're going to assign tasks to your core team members to work on throughout the week. My cat is eating plants behind me. I don't know if you can see her. I knew she was going to.
Cats always show up in Zoom sessions. It's inevitable.
I got to get her. Hold on one second. She literally eats them. So, and I want her to do that. All right. And then lastly, for your core team is that they're going to work very, very closely with you and with the rest of your team. So like I mentioned, the project management examples. Jen, do you want to type some of those softwares into the chat maybe?
Yeah, I'll do that right now. Absolutely.
Thank you. So your core team is going to work very closely with you. They're people you're going to probably talk to every single day, and you're going to collaborate with them a lot. Now, your contractors, after you have a call with them to decide if you're going to work together, they're going to send you a proposal. And in this proposal, they're going to outline very specific deliverables, which means, so say you're working with your website designer or your brand person, right? I just went through a branding process. And so my brand designer sent me a proposal that said, by the end of our project together, you're going to have your logo, your sub logo, your fonts, your brand colors, a mood board, right? She named everything that she was going to deliver to me by the end of our project. Then after you've decided to work with this contractor, you're probably going to hop on a kickoff call. And during this call, they are going to give you a project timeline with tangible milestones. So they're going to say, okay, here's what we're going to do. A week from now, this is what I'm going to deliver to you. We're going to hop back on another call to review it together. And then I'm going to go take care of XYZ. Again, your work with your contractor has a very clear start date and a very clear end date. And your contractors probably work very independently. They're not going to be in your project management system. They're just going to meet with you every once in a while. Maybe you exchange some emails, but for the most part, they're just going to go off and do their thing. All right. Okay. So now we're going to move into step 3, which is paying your team. So let me take another sip of my coffee here.
In the meantime, while you're taking a sip, I just put a link in the chat. I did a session a few months back for ecomConnect on efficient business management. And I walked through a lot of these systems that Jamie-Lynn is talking about in that workshop. So the link is in the chat. If you're not already an ecomConnect member, you can join us for free at ecomconnect.org. And it would be a really good place to get you started to just see kind of how business management can happen for you.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds very valuable. All righty. So paying your team. So it's really important before you bring someone onto your core team to make sure that your income is consistent enough to pay them regularly. I have to tell you, from being on the other side of this, there is nothing worse than hiring someone and not being able to pay them 2 months later. It's happened to me when clients hired me before, and it just stinks. So let's play with a formula for this. First, we have your overall revenue. So this is all of the money that comes into your business before anything gets taken out. And what we're going to do is just start chopping this pie into sections. So first, we have your profit. Your profit is the financial gain that you make on something that you sell. This is a slice of the pie that your expenses never come out of. I personally keep mine pretty low at about 5%, and you'll see why as we keep going. Next, we've got your owner pay. So this is what you draw as your own paycheck from everything that your business makes. I prefer to pay myself 50% of everything that comes in. But like I said in the very beginning, you can adjust these numbers however feels good for you. Next, we're going to add in taxes. Not as fun, I know. So I personally save 20% of my revenue for taxes, but I want to note that it's really, really important to look up the tax regulations where you live so that you know exactly how much you should be setting aside to stay compliant with your local requirements. Now, what we have left over is 25% of your revenue, which I have renamed business expenses. Is everybody good so far? Is anyone wondering where the team budget is? So your team budget is going to come from your business expenses. So we're just going to divide that section up a little bit. So your team budget, I like to do 75% of the business expenses for an online business, or 18.8-ish% of your total revenue. So this might be different for you depending on what else your business needs to pay for. I find that the 6% usually covers, all the software that I pay for. But like I said, you can play with this until you find something that feels really good to you. Just make sure these add up to 100 at the end of the day. Another thing I want to note here is to be sure to research industry standards for the positions that you're looking to hire. That way you can get a general idea of what business owners in your area are paying their team members for the same role. This will likely vary depending on where you're located. All right. So when you're thinking about your future team and deciding on a budget, here are some questions that you may want to think about. Number one, how many hours would I like this person to work per month or per week? Number two, how much money am I willing and able to pay them per week or per month? Maybe something else you want to consider is how often do I want to pay them? And number three, are there any business goals that I need to set and reach before I can hire my new team member? So maybe you've gone through the team pay formula that we were just talking about, and you realize that what you're making right now isn't exactly a match for question number one, how much you want to pay somebody to do that job. So what you can do then is set a goal for your business that will help you bring in the revenue that you need to be able to hire your new team member. All right. Cruising right along here. We're at number 4, when to hire. So this is a question I get asked a lot, and my answer is always, ideally, as soon as your budget allows, and before you're totally overwhelmed with work, because it just makes for a very stressful situation for everyone. And to make a good hire, this process takes time. If you're someone who launches your services a few times a year, you could look ahead at your launch schedule and make sure that your new hire will have enough time to learn about your business, how to do their tasks, and how to do them well before your next launch starts. You can help them, you want to have time to help them learn your company culture, who else is on the team, if you already have other team members, and just how to do their routine tasks really well before you have a launch. Okay, so this is a tool that I use with my private clients. Go ahead and ignore the VIP date at the top. So let's have a look at all of the things that are listed here on this hiring timeline. So the first thing you'll probably do is post your job listing. And you could just put the date of the day that you posted the listing here. What I like to do when I post a job listing is share a link to the job description, which is usually, a 1 to 2 page Google document that tells more about the position. I like to link to that so they can read more and learn how to apply. And I like to give people about a week to see the job ad and then reply to it. And what I usually ask people to do is send me an email with a very specific subject line. That way I can keep an eye out for that subject line in my inbox and move all of those emails over to a hiring folder just to keep everything really organized. So about a week after you've posted your listing and people have emailed you, we'll have our deadline, the last day to email. And then what you'll want to do is open up all of those emails with the right subject line and send them your job application. It's a form they'll fill out that'll give you more information about your candidates. And the timeline on this is usually 1 week after the deadline to email you and 2 weeks after you've posted. So I give them a whole week to fill out the application. Then you want to make space after that deadline to review all of the applications and pick your top candidates. And then I usually like to do a task round, which is just very simple, short, not time-consuming things that they can do to show you that they're skilled for the position that you're hiring for. So for example, this is the example I give my clients all the time. Say you're hiring for an executive assistant. What you might do is give them a sample email from somebody who's asking about your business and ask them to draft a response back, because maybe you're looking to see what their communication style is like. Will they be talking to people who are communicating with your business in a way that feels really good and aligned for you and on brand? I like to do a really short deadline for this one. I usually give 48 hours after I send the instructions for them to return the task round to me. Just create a little bit of urgency to see who really wants the position. Then after that 48-hour deadline closes, of course, I sit down and review the task round. And then I reach out and invite the best candidates to have a hiring call with me. I don't like to use the word interview. I like to make it less formal and have it be a conversation. So I call them hiring calls. And I usually do these hiring calls in a 2-week window. So you could put date to, put the date window here. And you'll know when the last day is that you're going to do these hiring calls. Then after those are all finished, you'll make your final decision and send out an offer letter to the top candidate that you want to hire. I usually do this the Friday after hiring calls, and that way, the same week that I have the calls, that way I have space to make a decision while all of those conversations are still fresh in my mind. Once they say yes, you'll pick your new hire's start date, maybe the following Monday, maybe a week later, depends on what your schedule is like. And then this is very important, this last step, is your onboarding and initial training period. You'll note here that this is a much longer period of time. So initial onboarding and training can take up to 30 days. Think about jobs you had when you started new. You didn't know everything about the business in that first week. And even if somebody told you everything, it's very overwhelming and you probably didn't remember all of it. And so it takes about 30 days for a new hire to settle into a rhythm and start to get comfortable with everything it is that they're working on. So you can use a timeline like this one once you know that you have the budget to hire. This way you can plan when to hire and make sure that you have enough time to both find the person, hire them, and train them before you need their help on a specific project or a big launch. So you can just kind of go backwards. This is my launch date. This is the 30-day training period. This is their start date, right? And just go all the way back. And that will tell you when you need to post your job listing. Alrighty. So here we are nearing the end of our time together with the fifth and last step, where to look for great support. So these are just a few of my suggestions, but by all means, please get creative with this and don't let this list feel limiting to you. Oh my goodness, it's quite the animation. Okay, so you can post on your Facebook profile, your personal profile, to see if your friends have any excellent recommendations to get some interest in your position. You can also use Facebook groups to post your job listing. I didn't put that in here, so I'll just mention it. You could send an email out to your list with a really interesting subject line that makes people curious to open it up. You could also include a line in this email that asks them to forward it along to anybody they could think of that might be a really great candidate for your position. Maybe you even want to include some sample materials to use that they could use to post about the opening on their social media profiles if they would be kind enough to help you get the word out. You can just simply ask your network who they know. So you could reach out and send personal messages to some of the people you're closest with in the online business community and ask if they have anyone to recommend to you. You never know unless you ask. You could make a post on your Instagram grid and tag your friends who have online businesses and ask them to share it out. Be sure to include the ask for them to share it if that's what you want people to do. I would love to mention LinkedIn because it has an excellent algorithm. So you can post your job listing as an open job for your company, but then you can also share it as a post and ask your network to share it out. And you can use 3 to 4 hashtags to make it more visible. And then when your network shares it, their network sees it. And if the ask to share is included in your post, then each next level of the network may continue to share it. And finally, you could create an internal referral program. So this is for if you already have team members. You could ask them who they've worked with before that might be a really great fit for your open position. If they're an A player, a really strong team member, guarantee they know other A players from their past experiences. And then if you end up hiring the person that they've recommended, you might consider offering a small bonus to the team member who suggested them. You don't have to, but it's a really nice way to thank your team member for sending you another excellent team member. And then they may be inclined to do it again in the future when you have another opening. Okay, that is everything I have for you today. So please feel free to share your favorite takeaway in the chat. You can go ahead and start asking any questions you have. I'd love to hear what you're thinking about. I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you so much for being here and for allowing me to share this with you. It's really been an honor to share the room with you and to help you navigate hiring. And I hope that I get the opportunity to continue connecting with many of you in the near future here on ecomConnect. Yeah, that's it. That's it for me. So
yeah, sounds great. Thank you so much, Jamie-Lynn. That was super helpful. So actually, what we can do now, if you want to stop sharing your screen, we can just open up the room for questions, like you said. So you guys can put your questions in the chat, or you can really just unmute yourself if you want. Also, we can just have an open conversation. So yeah, don't be shy to ask Jamie-Lynn some questions. There we go.
It's on my other screen. I couldn't find it.
It's all good. It's all good. Let me just put gallery view so I can see everybody here. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So please feel free to unmute if you have any questions. I know it always takes people a few minutes to warm up and unmute, so don't be shy. I think one of the things for me also that has been super helpful. Oh, Kevin, do you have a question?
Hey, hello.
Hi, Kevin.
Greetings. I joined in a bit late, but I don't know if you tackled this, the issue of disclosing the the salary or the amount that you're going to pay for the position. What's your take on that? Should you put it alongside the job description, or should you reveal that at the onboarding stage? Thank you for that.
Good question.
That's a great question. I didn't talk about it, so thank you for asking. I personally say yes, include the salary in the job description and show it up front, because then the people who are applying for your position can make a responsible and educated decision about whether this is going to make good sense for them to apply for. Yeah, that's how you're going to attract really top talent, is they're going to know, okay, this is going to be worth it for me to apply to. And it makes them excited about the position. So, and it sets you apart as an employer, right? A lot of people don't show the salary up front. And so when you do, you may get more really excellent applicants. So my opinion is yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
We got some nice comments here. Thank you very much. Thank you. Very useful. It's great that the presentation will be online. Sylvia says, this is very interesting. I can't believe how disorganized I am in my business practices. Thank you so very much for the presentation. Yeah, I was just mentioning, Sylvia, like it's actually great to see this, and don't feel bad about being disorganized. This is just a great starting point to just begin implementing just really small things on a day-to-day basis to just bring that structure into your business. Oh, Tofara, she says, wow, that was mind-blowing. Learned a lot.
Thank you.
Amazing, Tofara. Yeah, it's a huge topic, hiring. It's very overwhelming. And one of the things that I know that has helped me also, so I love the question about, at the beginning, you were saying like, is this essential for me to be doing as a business owner? And the other question I like to ask myself also is like, what do I need that I'm not capable of doing right now that would move my business forward? And that often falls into execution, right? So if you know that like your business could be growing right now, if you had someone doing social media for you, or like, don't let yourself get stuck in not moving forward just because you can't do it. This is when you want to, like, if you can, you want to bring in people who can execute and get things done that you can't, that will create business growth.
Yes.
Anybody else have questions? And I saw that you were unmuted. I saw that you were unmuted, Anne. I don't know if you had a question. Okay, Caroline says, this is great. I was actually wondering how to go about hiring and which is the most important person to grow my business. Thank you for the systematic process. Yes.
You're welcome.
Amazing. Oh, thanks for reposting, Caroline. She sent it to me privately first.
I was wondering where you were reading.
The Zoom chat gets a little bit confusing sometimes. Please don't be shy. Also, in the meantime, while we're waiting, this session is recorded, so please make sure to go register at ecomConnect.org. I'm actually going to put the website back in the chat right now. It's free to join us. We have lots of great events every week happening in the community. Connect.org. And if you want to find the recordings for past events, you can go into the tools sections under videos. They're all there by category. Or if you go to the events section under past events, and you click into the past event at the bottom, either in the description or in the comments, you'll see the link also to the recording. So you will have access to this as well. And will you be able to send us a copy of the slides, Jamie-Lynn, so we could attach it with it if they want to go back through the notes?
Yes, absolutely. I can do that.
Great. Also, while we're waiting, I'm just going to launch a quick poll. It's a couple of questions. If you have 2 minutes to answer, it really helps us understand just how these workshops are helping you guys and what we can create more of for you. So you're going to see a little screen pop up, just literally 5 quick questions. That would be really great. And if nobody else has any questions, we will tie up the session in just a minute or two. Joyce says, thank you for the presentation. It will be very useful. Looking forward to applying these lessons learned. Hiring is my vision for 2022. Exciting, Joyce. It's actually my vision for 2022 as well.
I will post some of my links to social media in the chat here for you if you'd like to follow me.
Yeah.
I'd love to connect on social. I usually have that on the slide and I didn't this time. So thank you for asking.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. I think one of the things also that's just coming to mind to remember when hiring is to not be scared to make mistakes. Like hiring is something that it's like trial and error. It takes practice. And also it's very hard for business owners to delegate. It's really difficult. It's challenging to release control and you know, even just to get to know what to delegate to people. So the best thing is to start practicing, and, you know, even if that's with just one person, so that as you move through the process of hiring and bringing people on and trying some people, it might, you know, not everyone might work. You'll start to get more and more clear about what you really need for your business.
Something I'm doing right now that might be useful for you as well is like, I don't have my own team right now, right? So I just left a team to start teaching about hiring, and I really miss having a team. I really miss it. So what I do is every Monday, I check in with myself in a Google document, and I ask myself one question. I say, if I had a team, what would I ask them for help with this week? And I look ahead at everything I have to do, and I say, okay, I would ask them to post all this stuff that I wrote to social media. I would ask them to send my newsletter out. I would ask them to download my Facebook Lives and upload them to Vimeo. I would ask them for ideas about, you know, I was asked to do a speaking presentation. So I would ask them for ideas. What have you heard me talk about? What do you think would be really great in here? Or I might be creating a new opt-in for virtual assistants for a group I run. And I might ask them, okay, well, you're a virtual assistant. What would be a really great resource for you, right? And I just make a note of all these things. Like, if I had a team right now, what would I ask them to help me with this week? And over time, it gets really easy to see, oh, I need an admin assistant, I need a social media manager, and I need a media intern. Those are the first 3 positions I'm going to hire for personally. And I can see it because I do this activity every Monday.
I love that. That's such a genius practice. I am going to start doing that every Monday. Oh, Aparna, you have a question. Yes. Go ahead.
Hello. Yes. Good time always. That is depending on location. There is another situation. Myself, designer Mrs. Aparna Amol Bakshi, super specialist in Python. We can able to provide each options alternate solutions according to event budget requirement. How can I catch the international market? That is my question.
Did you get that, Jamie-Lynn, or?
I missed the end. I think it may have cut out. How can you
repeat? Yes. Can you repeat your question, Aparna? Sorry.
Yeah. Yes. My product is Paithani, Mahavastra Paithani. That is a Maharashtrian traditional heritage art.
Okay.
That how can I reach to catch the international market. That is the concern, because I am only the person in world. I have done my MSc in fashion designing with research subject. That one is a Paithani weaving, kurtis and accessories. All
Mhm.
documents are registered on my name in the university. For this unique research, I have scholarship from Symbiosis International as a unique researcher and woman entrepreneur for MBA. Afterwards, I never seen back. Day by day, every day, in every way, we are contributing to nation as well as handloom and artisans uh, to work harder than and grow their business basically worldwide. I have provided IAWW, Indian Association of Western Organization, Washington White House, Sari Sarita event. But that product executions credit not get to me. That is a pain for me. So how can it help to econnect to me for executing the products internationally?
So is this more of a sales question? Like the question is about how to.
Not a sales question. That is actually with brand name. I want to explore with brand name basically.
Okay. But is this a question about hiring?
Not hiring to reach proper client basically,
Yeah.
B2B as well as B2C.
Yeah. So so Jamie-Lynn is talking about hiring today. So I don't think we have the answer for that specifically today. But
Yes.
if you
Whether I get the connect for hiring basically, due to hiring, it will be helpful to reach my product with my product, my brand name.
Right. Okay. So bringing on someone internationally would help you get your brand out internationally, essentially, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that I don't want to overstep Jamie-Lynn, but
Thank you. And thank you for sharing your valuable time basically. It means a lot for me.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. I think probably what Jamie-Lynn was talking about in terms of how you can target on LinkedIn and how you get job postings out. And maybe you want to, maybe that needs to be part of the job description, is like, I am looking for someone to hire someone from internationally, or maybe you specify, I want to hire someone from the US or another country, or get really specific about what you need.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would even say, like, maybe part of your job, maybe the job description is actually you needing to hire someone to help you get your brand out internationally. So you need like a connector, a networker, maybe.
Okay. Positively. I will be work on that.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
You're so welcome. All right, everyone. Well, we are going to tie up the session, and we hope to see you in ecomConnect. Great. We have so many nice comments. This is amazing. Yes, come join us. We got lots of great events coming up. Feel free to connect with Jamie-Lynn. Her links are in the chat. And wishing everyone a really nice end of week. Thank you so much, Jamie-Lynn, for the session. It was really great.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Good. All right, guys. Have a really good day. Bye.
Yes. Good time.
Bye.